Compelling villains are an essential ingredient in any great TV show. They're the ones who make viewers' blood boil, jaws drop, and hands tighten around the remote in disbelief. Game of Thrones was practically built on that foundation, delivering antagonists that were as magnetic as they were monstrous. From Cersei Lannister, Lena Headey, to Ramsay Bolton, Ewan Ryan, to the Night King, Richard Brake and Vladimir Furdik, the series was a masterclass in unforgettable villainy, the kind that's impossible to look away from. However, among Game of Thrones' rogues gallery of backstabbers, tyrants, and sadists, one villain stands far above the rest. This Antagonist was perfect not just because of how detestable he was, but because of how impeccably cast he turned out to be. Every detail, every sneer, every moment of smug satisfaction was performed to perfection. This wasn't just great direction or clever writing, it was the result of a pitch-perfect actor breathing terrifying life into his character. While he may have met his fate early in Season 4, Jack Gleeson's Joffrey Baratheon remains the definitive example of TV villain casting done right. He wasn't just one of the most compelling antagonists in Game of Thrones, he was one of the most perfectly realized villains ever to grace the small screen. Jack Gleeson's performance as Joffrey in Game of Thrones was flawless. Every aspect of Joffrey's character was perfectly captured. Jack Gleeson's performance as Joffrey Baratheon is one of those rare cases where an actor's portrayal is so complete that it feels impossible to imagine anyone else in the role. From the very first Game of Thrones episode he appeared in, Gleeson embodied the kind of privileged cruelty that defined the young king. His smirk alone became iconic, a visual shorthand for everything vile and infuriating about Joffrey. Joffrey as the spoiled brat? Gleeson nailed it, turning even the smallest tantrum into a royal decree of entitlement. Joffrey as the sadistic tyrant? Absolutely chilling. He didn't just deliver cruelty, he relished in it, bringing a disturbing authenticity that never slipped into caricature. Joffrey is the insecure boy desperate for validation? That, too, Gleeson delivered in quiet, fleeting moments that added depth to the monster he played. Villains are easy to hate. Truly great TV show villains are impossible to look away from. Gleeson struck that balance flawlessly. His performance walked the razor's edge between theatrical and grounded, ensuring Joffrey always felt like a real, terrifying person rather than a fantasy archetype. It was the kind of acting that elevates an already well-written character into pop culture legend. Even surrounded by a cast stacked with world-class talent, Gleeson commanded attention whenever he appeared on screen. Whether barking orders from the Iron Throne or cowering behind his mother, every scene with him felt charged. His portrayal made Joffrey's eventual downfall in Season 4's The Lion and the Rose one of the most satisfying payoffs in television history, not just because Joffrey deserved it, but because Gleeson had made every viewer feel that hatred so intensely. Why Gleeson's performance is more impressive than other GOT villains. Gleeson's lack of experience made his performance even more extraordinary. One of the most astonishing aspects of Jack Gleeson's portrayal of Joffrey Baratheon is how relatively inexperienced he was compared to the powerhouse actors around him. Game of Thrones boasted an ensemble cast of actors playing villains that included the likes of Lena Headey, Charles Dance, and Ewan Ryan, all seasoned performers with years of work behind them. Jack Gleeson, by contrast, was stepping into his first major role. However, he didn't just hold his own, he dominated. Joffrey was among the show's most discussed and despised figures from the moment he appeared. It takes immense confidence and craft to play a character that universally loathed and still feel completely convincing, never slipping into overacting or parody. Gleeson managed that with uncanny precision. Compare that to Ramsay Bolton. Ewan Ryan's performance was brilliant, but he already had years of screen experience before Game of Thrones. Headey's Cersei was another masterclass in villainy, but she came to the role with a long filmography of complex characters. Gleeson, meanwhile, entered the series relatively unknown, and yet, his Joffrey instantly became one of television's greatest monsters. What's even more remarkable is how he understood restraint. Joffrey's evil wasn't loud or operatic all the time, it often simmered beneath the surface, revealed through subtle flickers of insecurity or disdain. Gleeson's ability to portray that nuance at such a young age is why Joffrey remains an enduring symbol of television villainy. It wasn't just about being hated, it was about being believably hated. Jack Gleeson's Joffrey performance made people hate the actor. Gleeson's convincing portrayal sparked believable rumors about his career. Jack Gleeson's Joffrey performance was so convincing that for years, fans genuinely believed he quit acting because he couldn't handle the hatred directed at him. The rumor became one of Game of Thrones' longest-standing urban legends, that Gleeson's performance was so despised, it drove him from Hollywood. It's a testament to how completely he sold the role. In reality, Gleeson has since clarified that the rumor isn't true. In a 2025 interview, he explained that while Joffrey's notoriety did spark intense fan reactions, he was never harassed or threatened because of it. The supposed fan abuse story, he revealed, was largely an internet myth, via reality TV. What's more, Gleeson didn't quit acting entirely, as his recent appearance in House of Guinness proves. Still, the fact that people believed such a story speaks volumes about how deeply his performance resonated. Audiences didn't just dislike Joffrey, they despised him with a visceral, emotional intensity that transcended the screen. Gleeson had so fully disappeared into the role that the line between character and actor blurred for millions of viewers.